So with all the negative headlines, the Democrat hysteria, and of course the reported concerns now about tanking poll numbers on immigration, President Trump decided he had to do something. And unfortunately, it appears to have been a change in his immigration policy. Again, they're not saying that. That's what it is. Tom Homan announcing a key part of Minnesota's sanctuary policy may be getting reversed or suspended. Watch.
I didn't ask them to be immigration officers. I'm asking them to be cops working with the cops to help us take criminal aliens off the street. I'm also pleased to announce I had a very good meeting with Attorney General Ellison, and he has clarified for me that county jails may notify ICE of the release dates of criminal public safety risks so ICE can take custody of them upon the release from the jail. All we want is to talk to the person that local and state law enforcement authorities locked in a jail cell. They chose to lock this person up. When we have these agreements, it takes less law enforcement agents to do the job. One agent can arrest one bad guy in the safety and security of a jail where he's behind the wire. We know we don't have weapons. But when you normally release that public safety threat, illegal alien back in the community, we have a job to do. We're going to arrest them. So what could have been done with one person in a safety and security jail, now we got 15, 16 people out there doing it. I know that causes stress in the community. This is common sense cooperation that allows us to draw down on the number of people we have here. Yes, I said it. Draw down the number of people here. Because we have the efficiency and safety of the jails and the prison.
Hopefully. I hope we do. But even if we do, let's be honest, how many of the illegals who are in Minneapolis are sitting in the local jails right now because they committed another crime? Again, not like state prison. That's where you go when you get sentenced. They ship you off to the state prison. The county jails, that's like a holding area where they hold you temporarily, usually until you have a trial, or if you've been held without bail. And so that's a temporary housing situation for people who have been accused. We're ignoring the vast majority of the illegals who are in Minnesota. We hadn't been, but now we are really limiting it as an accommodation to these fucking lunatics who are assaulting ICE officers. Again, we're still awaiting confirmation for even that sliver of a change from the local officials. Let's hear it from the mayor. If true, it will change things somewhat. ICE will be able to safely take custody of these violent criminals inside secure facilities. Tom Homan has been saying this is a goal from the beginning, making it a safer interaction for everybody, for ICE, Border Patrol, for the illegal alien, for the civilians, everybody, instead of out on the street where he explained today how they got to bring all this backup. They got to have people for the front door. They got to have them for the back door. They got to have them in case the guy runs. They got to protect if there are children there. That has to be handled with more manpower and so on. So his point is totally valid. I mean, they should be cooperating on the jails. Obviously, that's the best place to make the arrests. But yeah, you get it. A CNN reporter asked Homan today how this operation has been allowed to quote, create such fear. And Tom Homan, this is not his first rodeo, as you can hear in this response. Watch.
Shimon Prokopez from CNN. Mr. Homan, how did we get here, having Border Patrol agents in the interior of this country, stopping U.S. citizens, asking them for ID, creating this fear in places like Chicago and now here? And then finally, it took really the death of Alex Petty for us to get here. How did that happen? Who made the decisions to allow this kind of operation to proceed in this way and to create such fear?
The question from CNN, why are we here? What started this? 4 years of an open border where millions of people are let in this country unvetted. The politicians are continually attacking us. Where were they the last 4 years? when the number of women and children sex trafficking went all-time high? Where were they when 250,000 Americans died from fentanyl coming across the border? Where were they when women and children are dying making that journey? Where were they where over 4,000 families making that journey died? Historic record. Where were they? Not a word. Now we're just trying to respond to what happened the last 4 years and keeping this country safe.
That's exactly right. And honestly, the Trump administration cannot say that enough. They're trying to fix a problem they did not create. This was created by Joe Biden. I mean, millions of these illegals, they were welcomed here. There was a red carpet for them, thanks to Joe Biden. And Homan kept making the point that he said it was 10 million who came in. They think around 10 million that Joe Biden let in. Okay. And he said, but there were 2 million gotaways. And what that means is that they were distracted, like the cartels initiated an operation. He made the point that like they literally took a baby and threw it in the Rio Grande, knowing that the Border Patrol agents would go run to save the baby, which is a distraction technique, and then the illegals run across. So they don't want any interaction with Border Patrol. They don't want to claim fake asylum. They don't want to be caught and then like allowed to come here after a hearing or not. Either way, they're allowed to stay because we never deport anybody. But my point is simply they just wanted to get out of the hair of law enforcement entirely. And he was saying those are the ones who scare him the most. What was so bad about those people that they needed to sneak across quickly without any actual detection? He said it keeps him up at night. So he says that ICE is now going to target the most dangerous criminal aliens, but he also did say, because he's been committed to this mission for 50 years, but he did say anybody who crossed the border illegally should not consider themselves off the hook.
If you're in the country illegally, you're never off the table. Let me say this. If the message we send is you can enter this country illegally, it's a crime, don't worry about it. You can have your due process, show up in court, not show up in court, get ordered removed, don't worry about it. Unless you commit a serious crime, you're good to go. If that's the message we send to the world, you're never going to fix this problem.
I don't love where it's going. I mean, as you can glean, I don't love where it's going. And what they're doing is giving these protesters their way. And that's going to lead to more of this behavior. I mean, any parent of a toddler understands exactly what happens when you give in and you give them the lollipop or the toy in the grocery store aisle because they're crying and throwing a fit. You're going to get a whole lot more of it. The only way to handle that as a parent is usually to distract your child. But if you cannot distract him or her from the thing, you cannot give in. You cannot give in. The only way is to show them when you say no, you really mean no. And we're about to give the crying child, the toy in the grocery aisle. That's how this feels. I don't question Tom Homan's motives. I think that President Trump is responding to the thing we've been discussing, which is his cratering poll numbers with independents on this issue. And the reason the poll numbers are cratering is because the left is looking to create conflict in the streets of Minneapolis, and the media is too. The media wants to create a crisis for President Trump. So far they've gone from Renee Good was just this loving mom dropping off her kid at daycare to now the 5-year-old boy was just seized out of the parents' arms. He was abducted and sent to a facility. And now we're on to just a sweet nurse who was there trying to help people has been murdered. And like even the headlines about what happened to Alex Preddy are just ridiculous now. Like, what was the word, Steve, that we were talking about this morning on the one headline? Like interaction. Alex Preddy had previous interaction with law enforcement. Oh, is that all it was? Okay. When he spat on them and assaulted them and kicked in their vehicle taillight, committed several felonies and then resisted arrest. Just a sweet little interaction. It's just like when I go over to like Joe Friday, the officer on the corner, and say, thank you for your service. That's all that happened. So that's what's driving the numbers. The dishonesty of the media and the agitation bought and paid for in part by the Americans sitting in Shanghai. Great. The George Soros wannabe who's paying these agitators, as we reported earlier this week. And we're giving them their way, at least in part. And the one accommodation we say we got from Keith Ellison has not yet been confirmed by the local mayor. So we'll see. Ball's in Jacob Fry's court. A new year means new financial goals, like making sure your savings are secure and diversified. Will this be the year you decide to talk to someone from Birch Gold Group? They use an educational approach with a deep understanding of macroeconomics. There are forces pushing the dollar lower and gold higher, which is why they believe every American should own physical gold. So until January 30th, if you're a first-time gold buyer, Birch Gold is offering a rebate of up to $10,000 on qualifying purchases. To claim eligibility and start the process, just text MK to the number 989898. Birch Gold can help you roll an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, and you are still eligible for a rebate of up to $10,000. Consider making right now your first time to buy gold and take advantage of a rebate up to $10,000 when you buy by January 30th. Text MK to the number 989898. Claim your eligibility today. Again, just text MK to the number 989898. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.